On the one hand, and community of in brackets, and the Terry communities in the local government area. Our attention has been drawn to the fallacious and provocative claims being peddled by a few Shekiri persons, alleging that the Shekiris founded the historic community of Benogoro by the Shekiris, Bolokoso as corrupted by the Shekiris of Watata, Terry, and Ubono communities in Nubia local government individuals, or those who persist in the folklore of York, lacking in substance. However, silence in the face of persistent falsehoods can sometimes be mistaken for consent. Therefore, we state the facts for the records to properly educate discerning minds, sifting the wheat from the chaff. Holds that the patriarch was a Prince UGIU, exiled from Benin Kingdom for allegedly committing murder against a member of the Benin royal family. This exiled prince was received by the Indian people, the people who were already on the ground. The Indians allocated them lands considered to the evil forest, as they were skeptical of the new arrivals. It was the John who gave these newcomers the name Seikiri. Sei meaning evil in the John, and Kiri meaning land. The derogatory compound word, people of the evil kind, was gradually corrupted to Jekiri, and in more modern times to Shekiri, a word that carries no independent meaning in the Shekiri language itself. This alone is telling. Historical accounts of settlers on the banks of the Benin River refer to them as Jekiri people in trying to anglicize Seikiri. History is riddled with the sojourn of the Shekiris as they migrated across the creeks and river streams, seeking shelter in rural communities. They were never hinterland Aboriginal people. Prince UGIU did return to Benin to reclaim his throne. His travelers, the Shekiris or Jekiris, as they are known in historical documents, have during their sojourn. The Shekiris have recently used the occasion of their Gigo Agafen festival to propagate a version of history that claims they founded Benogoro and Ubono towns in Nubia Kingdom. The account recently presented at the Agafen festival, read before the Olu, claims that Benogoro was founded by Shekiri chiefs fleeing from Benin warriors. This claim is not new. It has been repeated in several litigations by feuding the Shekiri against the landlords. A detailed fairy tale is contained in several suits, some of which will be unraveled here. We have no grudge in whatever fairy tale the Shekiris want to pass on to their children. We, however, vehemently resent the attempts being made to force such tales into public domain with the potential of of inciting ethnic rivalry and violence. The object of this public proclamation is suspect and capable of upsetting peace between these communities. We see another desperate hunger for strife and war, an ill wind that bears no good. While several lawsuits have ensued over time, they all revolve around the attempt by the Shekiris to claim ownership over lands they inhabited in the course of their migration along the Benin River. A recurrent claim is that they met virgin forests and founded their settlements. We will discuss the most topical of these to debunk the claims of Shekiri ownership of Ubongo, Ubongo, Okwatata, and the Terebi communities in Ubia Kingdom. Legal claims of ownership. Ubia historical accounts relate how the Abba family of Terebi were owners in possession and control over all the lands now known as Benokoro, Okwatata, and the Terebi communities. Anyone familiar with the terrain will acknowledge all four communities are on a straight line trajectory from Erebe in Ebron to Benokoro to Okwatata to Terebi. The Shekiris cannot point to a single homestead in Erebe, Okwatata, Ubongo, or the Terebi communities. Yet, they claim to have founded these communities predominantly in Europe. Ugwurume and his son, the progenitor of the present descendants of Ubongo, with Erebe ancestry, considered the lands presently known as Benokoro to the Shekiri settlers who sought protection from Benin warriors. Among them was a niece of Abada. Several migrations from their kith and kin over the years swelled the population of Benokoro. The Abada family had always accommodated and protected them from war and destruction as maternal relations. The realities. After several court processes from lower court to appeal court to Supreme Court, none of these cases which are documented here in this address were they granted ownership of any of these communities. The Ubia people do not see conflict with any neighbor. We believe in what we have, always called intellectual progress. Some would like to call it intellectual militants. The use of truth, evidence, and historical record to defend our land and identity. The truth, as the foregoing demonstrates, is sacrosanct, and no grandstanding can alter it. The narrative presented at the festival of the Shekiris is pure grandstanding, fictional and trouble-seeking, very characteristic of the Shekiris. Ubongo, the Terebi, and Ubongo are integral parts of their land. Ubongo was a family settlement which the people of Ubia granted their maternal relations, who were paternally Shekiris, who moved to Ubia as a result of crisis they had in Shekiri land. Ubongo, on the other hand, was founded by the women of the The late King Nana of Sekiri was maternally Uye of Benokuru extraction. Reportedly, he in Uye his maternal homestead when he was being persecuted by the British. The British expedition in search of King Nana invaded and burnt down Uye market and several homesteads in the town. The then spiritual leader of Uye, Erunagode, was held captive by the British until Chief Arabic, who was allegedly hosting King Nana, was produced by the Uye. The population at Benokuru was swallowed because naturally gravitated to Benokuru, the maternal home of Nana of Sekiri, who was betrayed by an envious Sekiri man or Numa, which facilitated the downfall of the empire King Nana built and presided over. History records that there was no king amongst the Sekiris who contested the lordship of King Nana. It was after his betrayal and fall that those who joined the British to pull down King Nana created kingship, which is today ruling Sekiri. It should also be noted that whilst King Nana of Sekiri was humiliated at the instance of the British and his envious paternal Sekiri kinsmen were celebrating, his devout maternal people of Uye engaged the British officials in a fight of resistance for which the city center of the Uye people was burned in the 1890s. We also note, for historical education, that the contraption of kingship put together to replace the authority of King Nana were of two streams, one headed by Ogebo, who ruled exclusively over his domain, the Warri, and the other by Ogiame, who held sway over his Sekiri domains in the Benin and Escavos regions. Eventually, the Ogebo authority waned, and that was the time Ogiame started extending his influence to very part of Warri metropolis. Even the Sekiri land trust arrangement put together by Ogiame and his cohorts did not extend the authority to Bumangwe, which was the territory under the exclusive authority of Arthur Brest and validated by the courts. The Sekiri should recall that in the aftermath of the change of name from Olu of Sekiri to Olu of Warri in 1952 by the Awolowo Western Region government, there was a pogrom to expel all the Sekiris, that is squatters were, in all rural water sites. The Uye people, rather than expel the Sekiris in Benokuru, recognized them as their maternal relation, and an episode of chivalry built a wall of protection around the Sekiris. If that program had swept through Benokuru, the Sekiris would no more be on the land. The Bible states by nature, even he that faces it. It is an irony that today it pleases the Sekiris to prefer the anglicized corrupted version of the Benokuru, that is, Benokuru, around which they are mischievously using their false narrative. Yet they are running away from the anglicized corrupted version of the Sekiri by the British, which is the name they are referred Kingdom and the Shekiri nation have a long documented history of peaceful coexistence, intermarriage, and mutually beneficial social and economic relationships. Even though the Ugandan people are at peace with their maternal relations in the Benue group, the vaunting narrative by the larger Shekiri leadership falsely laying claim to Benue and Bongo will not be tolerated by UGIU, who are known for hospitality, and we demand a cease and desist to such provocative narratives from the Shekiri leadership. We advise the free Shekiri leaders trying to ferment trouble and drive a wedge between our two great ethnic nationalities to face another direction. The path of peace and mutual respect is large enough for all of us to walk. Do not create an artificial crisis where none exists. Focus your energy on the development of your communities rather than coveting the ancestral lands of your neighbors. The purpose of this resurgent claim is hard to decide, other than mischief and chaos. A warning on territorial integrity. Let it be known clearly that the peaceful disposition of the Ugandan people must never be mistaken for weakness. The Ugandan Kingdom is not afraid and will never be afraid to defend its territory, its heritage, and its people. We are prepared to defend our land legally in any court of law using documented historical facts and judicial precedents. We are equally prepared to defend our territory physically against any form of encroachment or aggression. Ubama, Watata, Iterebe, and Benue, Bologoso are and will always remain integral and indivisible parts of the Ugandan Kingdom. Whilst their paternal ancestry may be Shekiri, we consider them our maternal relations under the overlordship of the UGIU of Ugandan and the Ugandan Kingdom. The Edo, Igbo, and Hausa communities in Ugandan have peacefully coexisted in the Ugandan Kingdom, notwithstanding their ancestral origins. Our Shekiri brothers and all peace-loving people should adopt this position. We urge the Delta State government and relevant security agencies to take note of these inciting claims and call the perpetrators to order before they breach the existing peace in the region. Signed, above the Hope President General, Ugandan General Recruitment. Thank you very much.
Standing ovation. Standing ovation. Standing ovation. Standing ovation.